All right, let's take it to the Eastern Cape now. As part of its G20 presidency, South Africa is hosting important meetings to discuss global issues. Today, the Minister of Small Business Development in Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams will launch the first G20 event in that province. It's set at raising awareness about South Africa hosting the G20 summit and giving the public a chance to be involved. Watching the story is our reporter, Liabo, Setho, who is live to us now from Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape. And Liabo, of course, this is but one of a series of meetings that form part of the build-up to the main summit later on this year. Help us place, then, the role that that particular gathering is going to play.
Hi, Ayanda. It is one of many meetings that will be taking place around the country, of course, with South Africa holding the G20 presidency. And being here in the Eastern Cape, obviously you'll think about the oceans economy and the gold mine that it is for the province and for the national economy as well, and the downstream economy and things that are available to South Africans when we talk about job creation. We talk about entrepreneurship and small business development. Just a short while ago, proceedings did get underway. I am upstairs. I am downstairs here by the Nelson Mandela Yacht Club. And there's been a whole lot of talk about inclusion of the entrepreneurial landscape or the entrepreneurial ecosystem, the small business ecosystem, especially when it comes to the Eastern Cape. One person that I know is quite passionate about township economy and also the development of the rural economy and entrepreneurship is the Premier of the Eastern Cape, Mr. Mabuyane, who's going to give us a focus about what they'll be focusing on as a province during this G20 presidency, and how, most importantly, the people of the Eastern Cape are going to be benefiting from this. I was told earlier on about there's an oceans school that has been opened, and there's a whole lot of things that are happening around the oceans economy. How are these going to be benefiting the people of the Eastern Cape in its entirety come November when our presidency ends? But I'll let the Premier of the Eastern Cape, Mr. Mabuyane, to answer that. Sir, thank you so much. Welcome to SABC News. You've given a great introduction there in your speech upstairs about the kind of things that are currently happening to try and develop the Eastern Cape and the role of the oceans economy. Perhaps let our viewers in about what they can expect during this G20 presidency from the province.
Thank you very much, Liabo, and also good morning to Ayanda and the student viewers. Indeed, it's an opportunity of lifetime that as a country, on behalf of the entire continent, we are hosting the G20. It's something that comes once in a while, so it's an opportunity that we should be able to grab by both hands. We are making it a point that it actually addresses a lot of issues in terms of development. It also looks at the entire value chain to make sure that we talk of inclusivity, allowing ordinary people, ordinary SMMEs in all different sectors to really explore the opportunities in this particular year of G20 in South Africa. For oceans economy and the blue economy and its entirety, we are doing relatively well. Yes, we started very late, I must admit, as a province with 800-kilometer coastline we have. This province would have been one of the greatest provinces when you talk about oceans economy. But at least it's always better when you are working more based on R&D, because time to use logic is over. We are basically working with our higher education space, particularly the Nelson Mandela University here, that has worked with us to develop a master plan. Now we're rolling out that oceans economy master plan, looking broadly on the maritime economies, on the manufacturing, on industrializing this sector itself, allowing the shipping, bunkering, you name them. So we are basically dealing with that issue. Hence, we were a little bit concerned when we saw the regulations that minister is basically trying to work on. We have had a fight with SARS that has stopped the functioning of bunkering here for some time. Immediately when we are over that and we are starting to go back to the economy, and then now new attempts to really derail us there. Well, we talk of sustainability. This the development that we are saying, it must be sustainable development. That is, whatever that we are doing, it must actually coexist with nature and be able to look after the environment. So we are quite pleased with that. So as a province, this is one of our 5 key frontiers of growth, particularly into the 7th term. And we believe it can really be massive in terms of helping us to change the socio-economic outlook of the province.
Yeah. You spoke about the province being quite late in terms of getting onto the train, as it were. But a few weeks ago, we were all engrossed talking about tariffs and being a province that's also big on the automotive sector. How concerned are you that should that 90 days that has been put as a deadline for the US, once it kicks in and whatever decision is taken, the impact that it will have on what you're already trying to do as a province on those fronts?
Unfortunately, we've procrastinated a lot around the key catalytic projects that should have helped us to catalyze the economic development in the province, particularly in the maritime sector. I think the issue of tariffs and all that allows us or gives us an opportunity to focus on us and begin to say, what can we do here? Currently, everything that you see, most of it here is actually imported, and it's things that we should be able to develop them ourselves here. This is a haven for shipping and bunkering. This is the strategic area, the Algoa Bay, for all ships that are moving down Indian up to the Atlantic Ocean. So we should be able to get some huge business happening here, big ships here, also servicing of those ships and all that. It's an opportunity so that we stop crying. We can't have an economy that relies on other countries. We should be able to build our own economy to be resilient and strong and really be a meaningful partners in terms of trade with other countries. Not necessarily depend if the other country has got issues with us, our economy collapses. It can't work like that. Yeah. So it's an opportunity that we have to look at us, make reflections. What must we do to actually build our economy to be a resilient economy?
Yeah. It's so easy to get carried away, especially when there's big conferences such as the G20, and forget people that are in the periphery, like in the rural areas. How do we bring them in meaningfully, but not just saying words that, oh, the township economy is doing well, the rural economy is doing well. Practical steps that after this interview, whoever's watching us will be able to go on a certain website and be able to register their business to be able to give services during this G20 presidency.
Frankly speaking, I'm very much concerned about the attitude of our mayors and the municipalities. And I'm asking myself that in their ability strategies, especially those who are coastal, if they don't talk oceans economy, what are they talking about? Do they understand? I was talking to the minister now to say how I wish I would have seen all these mayors in the district municipalities that are along the coastal areas, as well as the local municipalities, for them to understand how important the oceans economy is, for us to be able to cascade this down to a level where it can be understood by people. But I can tell you, with work that we've been doing, giving permits through the relevant department to our cooperatives, allowing our people. But it has been a futile exercise to give our people fishing rights, fishing permits, but don't give them boats. Yeah. So they are taking those fishing permits, sell them to the people who are well off with boats and all that. So we need a very integrated strategic approach, DTIC here, DFFE here, everybody under one roof, to say when we do this, we're able to support and give the necessary complementary support that is needed by our SMME. We want our people in townships, our rural areas. This, to us, can talk directly to the rural development strategy, because most of our municipalities are rural, that are along the coast.
Right. Mr. Mabuyane, thank you so much. And looking forward to that panel discussion on policy interventions, which I think will give us a lot of clarity on what you've just alluded to. Thank you so much. Ayanda, very shortly there's going to be a panel discussion look at policy interventions that can enable entrepreneurship and SMMEs, particularly in the township and rural areas of the Eastern Cape. And we're looking forward to listening in there and hearing mostly what the Premier has mentioned about the shortcomings of how townships and rural areas can be integrated. But with that, let me rush up there and hand over back to you in studio.
All right, we'll allow you to do exactly that and catch up with you throughout the course of the morning. For now, Liabo, live to us there from Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape. Thanks very much.